Josh Donaldson, the bringer of rain, three-time All-Star, 2015 AL MVP. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I got to say this to you. Don't leave the chat. This is just me being a man of my word because, I don't know, 8-9 years ago when you were like, if your coach tells you to get on top of the ball, tell him no. My kids were like, what would you say if you saw him? I'd be like, I'd say, fuck you, dude. So now that I'm here, I just got to say, hey, fuck you, Josh Donaldson. That's it. Now I can move on, and I'm a man of my word. So,
Well, here I caught a lot of flack from coaches and stuff like that throughout the time. That's not abnormal, and I'm okay with that. My response to you would be: don't take a 5-minute clip of me talking about hitting and think that's everything that is about hitting.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not. That was on the spot, and I just remember, for myself. If we're gonna, I'll give you. I don't know how much you want to talk about hitting, but for me, I always had a down to flat swing.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime a coach told me to hit down on the or hit on top of the baseball, I was smothering the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
Now I talked to Barry
Which
Bonds.
works in the low levels because those get through and people make errors and the coach is
They
like,
can't.
good
Yeah, I
job.
mean, if you're
You're like,
relying on somebody to make an error, like fine. And I
yeah,
understand. Like, and look, if there was a man on third with less than 2 outs,
mm-hmm.
and the guy on the mound was really good, like infield was back, I'm
You're
gonna
playing the
take my
game.
stake.
Yeah, play the game. Yeah.
I'm gonna play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's a man on second, like tie ball game, like I'm gonna try to hit the ball, not force it the other way, but I'm gonna try to back the ball up to go backside to be able to get the guy over. Right.
Yeah.
What I was talking about in that interview is how I'm gonna train and how I'm gonna approach is what I'm gonna spend the majority of my bats doing, which is trying to drive the ball,
Yep.
get the ball in the air, and create success that way. If I'm living on the ground, then you wouldn't be talking to me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. You
And
wouldn't have
so
an
at
AL
the end of the
MVP trophy
day,
there.
you have to know your swing, you have to know your body, you have to know the situation of the game. What swing do I, and you have to have multiple swings.
Mm-hmm.
But the swing I was talking about is like, hey, this is the swing where I'm trying to make something happen,
Yeah.
put myself in the best position to succeed at that moment to drive a baseball.
Social media heard one sentence and went, yeah, we got gold.
Yeah,
which is
and I
the
mean,
way it
honestly,
works.
D-Row, he put me on the spot at that time. And to their point, like that clip went viral. Like I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to go viral.
Yeah.
Like I was just him and I were just, shooting the shit
Mm-hmm.
on national television, and it ended up doing it. Like I wasn't
Yep.
trying to like be controversial. Although I think D-Row knew that because I didn't even know I was going in there talking about hitting.
Mm-hmm.
They put me in there, and it was kind of like on the spot. Me and D-Row have talked about hitting leading up to that several times. And I think he knew that my way of thinking was different. I knew my
Mm-hmm.
way of thinking was different.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my whole message is like, it's okay to go outside the box.
Yep.
Like all of this shit that I was taught when I was younger, I got to the big leagues. That didn't work.
Yeah. Well, here's what I would combat that with, and here's what I told my guys. I said, a guy like Josh Donaldson, what were your high school stats? Let's say senior year ballpark, if you remember.
I hit like 500, 550 or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't hit a ton of home runs.
Mm-hmm. See,
I think I hit like 6 maybe, and I had a bunch of triples and doubles.
now that's what I said. I go, I don't know his stats, but I guarantee you he's a really good fucking hitter first. And then
Yeah.
he gets to be able to do these little things like, now let me work on lifting or this, or that. So I was never a hit ground balls. I was the same thing. Every kid in high school wants to play in college. I'm like, you're not going to do it hitting fucking rolling over every day. So
Mhm.
gaps and all that. What I don't want you to do is try to lift the ball out of the yard when you can't and get discouraged that you keep flying out. So I would always preach the guys that you're looking at are the best in the world, and certainly look at them, take things from them, but do not get it mixed up. They were unbelievable hitters before they started trying to do things at the big league level because your odds of hitting a ball in the gap or hitting one out of the yard when you're that good are better for you to get on base or do something than they are
No,
hitting a
no.
ground ball because that defense is so fucking good. It's like they do it out of necessity where it's like, this is how I'm gonna produce. I'm not gonna if I hit a ground ball, there's a 90% chance with the range, the arm, these guys are gonna throw me out. So I, absolutely understood what you were saying. I thought it was great, and but I told my kids 8, 9 years ago, so I had to stay true to my word, and when I right when you said yes, I'm like, "Shit, I gotta say it. I gotta say it." But,
Hey,
I
I
told
appreciate it. Hey, you're not gonna offend me. I don't have many feelings left, so it's okay.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
I'll tell you this last piece of thing. Like I have some buddies at home, they have kids that can't leave the yard, right?
Mhm,
The very thing that you said, I tell them, you have to learn how to be a hitter first
mhm,
before trying to go deep. Like once you are able to spend time in the weight room, once you get strong enough to leave the yard,
mhm.
okay, now we can play around with that. But what I don't like hearing from coaches say is like, you can't do their move.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they can. Younger
Mhm,
kids can. They're
mhm.
more apt because they don't have the bad tendencies already.
Yep.
I'll take a 10-year-old kid right now and turn him into your best hitter in your lineup in less than a month versus me going and being able to rewire a 30-year-old.
I can attest to that firsthand coaching youth for a long time. I would dumb things down, and then one kid came along, and I taught him something high level for his age. He was 9 or 10, just like that, and he picked it up, and I'm like, "Am I doing a disservice to all these kids by not teaching them than just finding out? If they can't get it, okay, let's start here." But the amount of kids that pick it up is pretty incredible, and when you do something like that with a long-term vision, like, "Hey, buddy, you are good. This is gonna be." It's like telling a kid I would play kids up only if they could mentally handle it and understand, "Hey,
Mhm.
if you're 14 and I put you in 16 or fuck it, 18 and you hit 220 all season, that's gonna be so much better for you than playing on the freshman team hitting 700, I promise. I know it won't make sense, but if
Yeah.
you can handle that mentally and understand it's good, then you're gonna be miles ahead by the time where you wanna be. So, I'm a big advocate of maybe not teaching it to everybody, but certainly starting and finding out if they can feel their body and they can do it, you're gonna put them miles ahead in that. I like that, and I think, yeah, talking hitting is something that coming on with you, I'm like, I'll keep it, vague on my side 'cause I like hitting, but when it comes to this, there's different levels to this, and you are at the top of the ladder of conversation, and I'm like, I'll be listening, learning. I
Yeah,
love
and look,
seeing the
it's
passion for hitting.
okay. Like, I mean, to disagree with me, like people disagree with me all the time, and I'm like, okay, well, you got to tell me whatever it is that why you believe that. Like, I've told this story a couple of times, like Barry Bonds, like Barry Bonds, and at this time, if you ever told me to swing down, I was just like, I would like write you off immediately.
Mhm,
And he told me like within the first 5 minutes of our park. And to me, let me clarify this: Barry Bonds is the greatest mechanically sound hitter in the game ever.
mhm.
Okay. Way better than me. Not
Yeah,
even close.
yeah, you
And
and
the first
everybody
thing he
else.
told me was just like he wanted to work hitting the ball down. And like I had to like bite the bullet.
The one
And
guy
I
on the
just
planet that
listened.
you're gonna bite the bullet on, huh?
I bit the bullet and I was like, all right, I just wanted to listen. And then after the conversation, I'm replaying it and I go, why would Barry Bonds think that? It's
Mhm,
wrong. He didn't do that.
mhm,
So then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, Barry Bonds, he's a lefty. He naturally creates leverage
yeah,
in a left-handed swing. They naturally want to get the barrel planed and then hit the ball in the air. So for me, I was like, okay, he had to compensate for that area to make sure that he wasn't getting too far underneath.
yeah, he doesn't lose 78 home runs in his
And so
career
like
to
that's
flyouts.
why I'm saying you have to understand your swing, like what's your miss?
Mhm,
Where is it like, okay, where do you want the success to be?
yeah,
So going back to that point of like younger kids, my whole thing is they have to be able to have the wherewithal to maintain what you're saying to them.
mhm,
If not, you're kind of wasting your time.
Yeah.
At that point, it just comes in like, all right, let's get your reps in. Let's build your hand-eye coordination, right?
Yep.
But 1 out of 10 kids, in my opinion, what I would tell kids every time I work with them, because I used to always work with younger kids. I loved it. I loved because it helped me too. It helped me
Mhm.
stay on top of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I would say, all right, I'd give them two things. And I go, all right, the next time I see you, the first question I'm going to ask you is, what were you working on since the last time we did? And I go, I better see this in a notebook.
Mhm.
Like if you aren't going and getting a notebook and writing it down and taking ownership of what you're doing, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
So after every session, I want you to go down and jot down one or two things. Like, what is it that we were working on? What did I feel like was clicking for me? It doesn't, there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. There's
Like
just work.
let's just get your brain thinking about what's going on. Because in the
Mhm.
cage is the time to work. Now, when the game starts, you go play. When you get older, now in the game, you can think and then make those adjustments.
Yeah.
Because one of the best things of like, I heard, I think Albert Pujols said this a long time ago, or somebody was talking about Albert Pujols. This is when he was the machine, like he was a freak, right?
Yeah.
You got the
Yeah.
Cardinals hat on, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, what's the difference between Pujols and everybody else? It's like everybody else, the adjustment happens 3 at-bats later, 2 games later, 4 games later. Where Pujols, it's a pitch.
Mhm.
One pitch happens, and then he makes the adjustment. When I got when I fully understood myself, then I could go click, click. There's the adjustment. All right, what's different about here? Let me identify that. Bloop. All right, there's my adjustment. Bam. Now I'm back on.
Yep. I like
Because
that.
everybody, once you get to the minor leagues, if you have power, everybody's going to have a 2 week, month stretch to where they build most of their numbers,
Mhm.
right? Like for me, like I'd go like 2 weeks on, a month off, 2 weeks on, a month off. And it was because I was living off feels.
Gotcha.
Like this felt right, this felt right. But once I had to understand, like once I understood what I needed to do, then there wasn't these lulls until I
Mhm.
got to the end of my career where I was banged up a lot and I wasn't getting the reps in that I needed to get in. That's another story. But once I had to understand it, I was like, all right, now for me to get my swing off, it's a click here, click here, click. All right, I identify what this guy's doing. Now I sync him. Once I get synced with him, the chances of him having success are not very high anymore.
That's such an amazing thing for somebody like me to think about being in the big leagues and having that, like, not confidence, yes, but a actual belief because you know, and it's like a real it's not just like, I'm pretending to be confident because I have to. It's like you really know, and I think that's pretty amazing to me. I both things you just said, I think are what I used to push kids all the time. I said, "Hey," 'cause I did lessons for a living, and little
Mhm.
Johnny comes for 3 months, and it's the
Yep.
same thing every time, and I finally looked at him, I said, "Hey, man, you gotta stop coming in through the front door, dude, because we climb up to the 2nd level of this building every day, and then you leave and you come back through the lobby because you didn't work on any shit, like, and then we climb to the 2nd floor and you come back." It's like, "You gotta come back on the 2nd floor next time, and 3rd floor, and climb, otherwise we're wasting our time, and 2, if you feel it, you can fix it. If you can't feel it, like when kids would roll something over, I'd be like, "Good, what'd you feel?" And if they told me, I'm like, "Fuck, it's nice. That's good," because now you can help yourself. So
Yep.
if you feel it, you can fix it. And that's like you said, I always remember this. I think it was Miguel Cabrera's Triple Crown year where there's a good story. It's like game 122, and he flies out to the second baseman and he runs down the line. He's like pissed, pissed. And one of his teammates is like, "Hey, what are you so pissed for? We're up 7-1. It's 7th inning." And he's like, "It's the first at bat I gave away all year." And I was like, "Damn, I love that." It's kind of like Pujols making pitch to
Yeah.
pitch adjustments. And the elite hitters, that category, Obviously, there's levels to the eliteness in the big leagues when you look at a Bonds and a Pujols and his all those guys, but, you know, you're in that level if you have any stretch whatsoever, especially 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, it's just a mental, like, you're elite in the mental capacity of it
No
because
doubt.
from all aspects of dealing with the failure and the lulls and not abandoning something that does work just because it didn't work for 2 weeks, like, there's so much to it, and I respect so much what you guys do. I keep most of my online takes general team-wise things. I don't like to go after players because I'm like, "These are the best motherfuckers on the planet," and it's, like, the coolest thing to me, but, yeah, I think listening to a lot of your like I said, when I interview somebody, I listen to as much that they've done, and you always lead into hitting, whether it's you leading into it or someone else, and it's just unbelievable to hear and know that, I mean, your career, if you didn't decide to take it over, would have been 4 or 5 years. See you later. Have a good one, guys. I'm out. Instead, you're sitting here as a three-time All-Star with an MVP plaque in your house. It's pretty incredible. So just the ultimate respect to me. Now
I
you
appreciate that. I mean, that means
yeah.
a lot. And honestly, like, I remember like when I was in my prime and I was doing my thing, where I was like, "Oh, this guy's a freak of nature. Like he's doing this and that." I'm like, they weren't saying that when I got sent down for the third time to
Mhm.
AAA.
That you're a waste of talent right there.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy wasn't a freak of nature. Like he can't hit." That's what they were saying.
Mhm.
He can't
Mhm.
play here.
Yep.
And then until like you said, until I grabbed the bull by the horns, and I was like, "All right, I'm taking ownership of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to figure out what it is that I need to have success in." And my biggest piece of advice for kids, it's not to not be emotional. Like being emotional is human, right? Like it's okay to like be pissed, but to
Mhm.
like be able to flush it quickly is important. But my advice would be this: after the game, when I could go and look at my defensive plays, when I could go look at my at bats and not be emotional about it anymore
Mhm.
and learn from it. Go back and replay in my head, like, what was I thinking in that moment?
Yeah.
Okay, was it good? Check. All right, let's do that again. Next time that situation, I know that was good. Let's do that again. If it was wrong or if it was bad, okay, we're staying away from that.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what the good stuff is.
Mhm.
And then that's why the notebook is important. Like you write that shit down. Like now you have a library to go back to.
Yeah, I think that's a huge, huge deal. I used to get so irritated with my kid. I'd be throwing BP 4 or 5 gap, deep fly ball, gap, roll over, and then they step out after the rollover and they're like, "Fuck." I'm like, "How come you didn't pay attention to the 4 balls you just pissed on, but you paid attention to the one you rolled over? Why didn't you step out after pissing on 2 in a row and go, 'Man, I really felt this. Let me do that again.'" Instead, you roll 1 over and you're like, "Fuck." So I used to always say, "Pay way more attention to the good ones than the bad ones because 'cause you're trying to do it right. So when you do it right, fucking pay attention to that and do it again." I think putting more into that obviously
Well,
is
and the
a good way to
brain
go.
to like parlay off what you were saying, the brain recognizes negative thought more
Mhm,
than positive.
mhm.
So if I go up
Big
there, I'm
time.
like, if I'm up there, I'm like, don't roll this over. Just by telling my brain that, I'm actually triggering my brain to roll the ball over. Or if
Mhm.
I'm saying don't swing and miss or don't swing at a ball, I'm telling myself to do that
Yep.
because your brain remembers what comes after that.
Makes sense.
So it's like how you talk to yourself, like mentally, like versus like, don't roll this ball over. What I would say is like, yeah, what I would say is keep my left wrist locked.
Mhm.
Like, so if I keep this angle here, like I'm going to hold that angle. Now I'm not rolling the ball over. So if I could go to like a mental, like mechanical thing in my swing versus saying, don't do this, don't do that. I'd say, all right, I want to do this. How do I do that?
Mhm.
Boom, there it is. All right, that's what I want to do.
Yep.
So
Makes a
that's
ton
how
of
I would
sense.
talk to myself mentally.
Makes a ton of sense. I think,
Yeah.
I do you plan have any plans in the probably the late future with your young daughters, maybe after they're a little older, to do any coaching big league wise?
I've been approached by a couple teams or whatnot. I think, and there's a couple, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a couple guys who I talk with right now
Hmm.
and do some things with, trying to rewire a couple things. I have fun doing that, but like as far as like coaching and being like on the bench all the time,
Hmm.
like I'm done doing all the traveling, like,
Yeah, makes
and being
sense.
away from home all the time for sure.
I appreciate this so much, dude. This is I don't expect anything out of anybody. So for you to say yes in the first place, amazing. And then to give me this kind of time, I think somebody like you is there's so much value. I mean, I enjoy the conversation, but I get excited about probably an hour and a half out of this hour 50 that audience, kids, coaches, people are going to get shit out of this that is really going to help them. So, um, you're the man, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you fucking decided to comment on my video and tell me how wrong I was because it led to this.
Well, as I said, I'm not short on opinions, and I'd say probably the last thing that I'd leave you with, and what I think's hilarious, because I used to do this all the time when all these kids would be showing their driveline videos and oh.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna do a slow zoom edit on that. That's what I'm talking about.